What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Paste Studios here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. We are joined right now by a very special guest. This is Laura Burhenn from the Mynabirds.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for coming to Paste.
Thanks for having me. It's really good to be here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. We've been really, really loving your record this year. It's called Be Here Now. It's your third record as the Mynabirds.
Fourth, actually.
Fourth record as the Mynabirds?
Yeah.
I guess that is right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would know. I'm just catching up. And so Laura is going to play a few songs from Be Here Now, and I think one special other song that we'll talk about later. So let's get right to some music. Tell me a little bit about the first song you're going to do for us today.
The first song I'm going to play is a song called Golden Age, and it's sort of a love letter written to America at this very time and place in our unique space and history. Kind of sung from maybe Lady Liberty's perspective.
Okay.
So maybe it feels good to sing it here in New York. So think about that. I'm singing it. All right, here we go.
Can you show me a good trick? Show me some magic. Can you pull the whole world from my ear? I hate how the best things keep disappearing, like Leonard and Bowie and the ice caps here. And we're left with this ignorant bliss. When we find a good thing, we can't hold on to it. The golden age, it sure was great. The sun was so pretty, we couldn't look away. Now I stand to see my brother, my sister or mother, through the rose-colored glasses of my own news feed, and the sermon I'm given in this new algorithm, it's falling on deaf ears, 'cause the choir already believes. Tell me, where are our heroes? Are they stuck at the wall? 'Cause we got some real villains to stop before they kill us all. The golden age, it's ours to save. I hear the bells ringing. Are you awake? Can you show me your best trick, your slick brand of magic? Your pen's not a wand to make us disappear. I see what you're doing with the Jews and the Muslims. You're sawing us all in half with your fake fear. My heart's full of love and all kinds of peace, but I think even I could punch a Nazi in the face. The golden age, it goes away when we just stand here with our hands up, begging, don't shoot, please. I'm sure Mars is nice, and I do love the moon, but this is my home, and I'm not leaving anytime soon. So call if you need me, and I promise I'm there with a thermos of coffee and cups to share. I'll be out on my island until the dawn breaks, hanging out with the night watch. My land.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that song seems like a very natural kind of introduction, or a great segue into this album in general. Which it's funny. I was thinking about this before when I was listening to the record, and I knew you were coming in to play these songs, and I was thinking, I often ask musicians who have written songs maybe in 2016 or end of 2016 or early 2017, and then had those songs come out, and how those songs sort of changed, or how their perception of the songs changed in that time. And in your case, it's sort of the opposite, because you wrote this record at the end of January, for the most part, directly as a response to what had happened, basically, in January, the election, the Women's March, Standing Rock a little later. And, so my question for you, similar to those other artists, is sort of, a year later, you've been playing this record, this record has been living in the world. How are these songs to you now? Are they the same songs they were in January when you wrote them?
It's a really funny question. I wanted to get this record out really quickly when I recorded it. I wrote and recorded it in 2 weeks, at the end of January, early February. And I was pushing Saddle Creek to put it out immediately. I was like, let's just mix and master it and throw it out into the world.
Right.
I think
it's like a news piece.
Right. I felt like a journalist in this record, very much so. And I thought, if I don't get this out soon, these songs aren't going to be relevant anymore. And they get more and more relevant every day. We ended up putting the video out for this, the Golden Age video, after the white supremacist march in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yeah.
Because I thought, this is timely. I thought singing, even I could punch a Nazi in the face, was sort of like, oh, Richard Spencer, that's old news.
Right.
But then you realize, oh my God, it's real, and it's getting worse, and it's getting emboldened from the president of the United States.
Yes.
So it's one of those things where I'm a little sad that they feel more relevant, but at the same time, I wrote this record because I needed some sort of catharsis for myself, because I thought I was going to lose my mind. It seemed unbelievable. It still seems unbelievable what's happening every day. And we have this awakening in some ways. We have sort of, it seems like all these sexual assault accusations are coming out, and but still Roy Moore is ahead in the polls, and the #1 predator in chief is still sitting
going strong. It seems like in
seat.
politics they seem somehow immune. In entertainment, seemingly not as much, but for some reason elected people, or people who are in elections, somehow get a weird pass. I don't know. Anyway,
we could go down a deep rabbit hole.
I know. This record and this conversation, I feel like all kinds of potential roads to go down. The one thing I wanted to ask about the music specifically, because I know that you did write this record really quickly and that you were responding to very specific events.
Right.
Is how the writing of the music, separate from the content, was different from how you normally go about making music. Have you ever recorded an album that fast, or tried to write songs that quickly? And was that something that you found especially challenging, or because of what was going on, it was just sort of pouring out?
It was pouring out, I think, because I was trying to be not just speaking from myself, but I kind of felt like a conduit where I was tuning into the collective consciousness. Yeah. So, I do have, there's a song called Witch Wolf that I wrote sort of for Standing Rock and for the native people who keep getting treated worse and worse every day. You think it can't get worse, but man, the Navajo code speakers the code talkers the other day, in
the White House,
standing in front of the portrait of Andrew Jackson. You're just like, how is this happening? Yeah. So I feel like I was able to channel other people's emotions as well as my own, and in that way, it seemed to come very easily. Yeah.
The music as well as the words.
Yeah, I worked with my producer Patrick Dampier.
He actually was just here.
Just here
with Jessica Lee Mayfield.
I saw him. Yeah, we were talking about that actually. So we worked together and we co-wrote the record. But it really, for whatever reason, it just fell together. So I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. Some songwriters will say that writing a song can feel like listening for it, like it's already out there.
Right.
So for this album, more than any other, I felt like that was especially true.
Yeah. I mean, was there any, you know, trepidation on your part? Like, I have all of these ideas I want to get out, but I'm not sure that the music is going to match my emotion.
It was terrifying to do it. But we went in and I said, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And we basically, I thought, well, if we get 4 songs out of it, that'll be great. I'll put out an EP, you know, or if we get 1 song out of it, I'll put out a single. And what we came up with were 9 songs. And it's funny, I've heard some criticism of the album where someone said it sounds very disjointed. And I thought, all right, I did a good job. Because to me, like, we are disjointed as people. Yeah. And we're divided. And the time we're going through right now feels a little schizophrenic. You know, it feels there's just a lot happening. And
such a reversal to where we were, from where we were, you know, a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and I think the thing that really makes me sad is that it's so divided. Yeah. And that's, people have always had different political opinions. So it's, as much as I wanted to express my full range of anger, I did try to do some bridge building work, I think, because I think that is important. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Maybe I didn't.
Well, you're going to play a couple more for us from Be Here Now. Tell me a little bit about this next one you're going to do.
This is a song called Shouting at the Dark. And it's kind of about digging in and not giving up, not giving in. And I was thinking a lot about making my 4th record and being a musician, an artist in a time where technology and the industry is changing in ways that we probably couldn't have imagined. And what that feels like what am I doing? And does it matter? Does writing a song or singing a song matter? So I felt like I was shouting at the dark, even in sort of my own depression that I was in, but also banding together and like being at the Women's March or being with my LGBTQ friends and, you know, my friends of color and just saying, all right, we're here. We're not going to stop.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Here we go. And this sounds very different than it does on the record because, well, this obviously all sounds very different because it's just me and a keyboard. So here we go. I'm going to try to play all the guitars.
On my knees and blood in my mouth from biting my tongue and keeping it down while you were sleeping. I was wide awake, screaming, shouting at the dark till our voices blow out, tearing at the sky, tearing at the lights with both hands. To get back up, I don't need another naysayer. There's too much to do together. Shouting at the dark till our voices blow out, tearing at the sky, tearing at the lies with both hands. Shouting at the dark till our voices blow out. be the one, I wanna be the one to help you lift it. And we'll keep shouting at the dark, shouting at the dark, till our voices blow out. Tearing at the sky, tearing at the lies with both hands. Shouting at the dark, shouting at the dark, till our voices blow out. Tearing at the sky, tearing at the lies with both hands. Shouting at the dark, shouting at the dark, till our voices blow out. Tearing at the sky, tearing at the lies with both hands.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that these songs actually sound really beautiful in this setting because there's something about, in this particular case, the subject matter and the idea of like a voice, a voice and a piano sort of stripped back to its essentials and saying what it needs to say. I don't know.
There's a lot of noise out there right now.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for everyone, I think, to get to what is true. It's last year, dictionary Webster, Merriam-Webster's word of the year was post-truth, right? Wasn't that last year?
Yeah, right.
And this year's complicit. So I think, I've been thinking a lot about that. We've got this gaslighting and like, what media is real? What's telling the truth? And war against journalism, which they're supposed to be the ultimate truth speakers.
Yeah, arbiters of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you for saying that, because I think voice is so important. Especially,
I think with this record and this kind of music, it's sort of like it's a voice speaking to what needs to be said. I don't know. I'm not saying that very eloquently, but I think you get my point. We're sort of switching roles here, so I'll get back to another question.
Should I ask you a question now?
Yeah. No. Well, I was wondering about sort of protest music in general. We actually at Paste, we did a story a few months ago on where the protest music is of this generation,
right,
and if it actually is there, but there's just so many ways to absorb music now and so many services and so many artists that it is too kind of fragmented to for anything to sort of split through the noise. So you have written one of the most sort of directly political records of 2017. We're now at the end of the year. I was sort of curious about your view on that. Have you been disappointed or have you been satisfied or, by artists' reaction and the art out there that is sort of addressing what's going on?
It's an interesting question because I'm kind of two minds about it. During the Bush years, I remember, in the Iraq War, I was really frustrated because I was like, where's the protest music? And I was living in D.C. at the time and marching on Washington.
Yeah.
And so it was confusing to me, but I do understand that in difficult times, sometimes people want to turn to comforting music. And there's a place for both things. So now, I do think there are some voices out there doing some really incredible things that don't look like traditional protest music. Like Solange is a great example. Her latest album is incredible. Don't Touch My Hair, Don't Touch My Crown. She was the voice of an entire people, you know what I mean? I just think what she's doing out there is incredible. And you have people like Lizzo, who is just out there. What she's doing is protest music.
Yeah, the personal sort of is political.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely some good things out there. There's a lot of, vapid pop music, and there always is.
Always has been.
Always has been. But there's a place where people want to just feel comforted and want to dance.
Do you think is it harder now for, music with a message to find its audience than it used to be?
I wonder about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is something I wonder. You can question, have I written something that resonates with people? And if it doesn't seem to be resonating, because what are the metrics for that? Album sales, well, nobody's buying albums.
Right.
Plays on Spotify, well, is it getting playlisted or not? Or, it's this whole weird industry. And so I don't know if the message is getting to the people who want to hear it. there's something, you know, where I think you just have to trust in the music and the songs that they'll find their way out.
Yeah.
It's a strange world.
It is. It's very different in terms of how we kind of absorb our art. And the one last sort of, you know, idea of that I was sort of curious about from your perspective is when you write an album like this, and it does have such a specific subject. Mm-hmm. You know, do you ever think about, like, you know, I'm going to be playing these songs 5 years, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and will they live in a kind of a general sense, or will they always be sort of directly pegged right back to, like, people might not know what I am singing about in 2025?
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of a song, right? It doesn't matter really what I intend. It's what the listener clings to and what they connect with. And that's always how a song works, which I love. I love that about a song.
Yeah.
It's not mine. So, I mean, but there's so many songs that we can hear now that were big protest songs. You know, Ohio, tied to a very specific
funny,
thing.
that was the exact one that I was thinking of. And I was wondering, like, when young people hear Ohio, what do they make of it, you know?
It's interesting, and I don't really know. I mean, I'm familiar with the history of the song. I actually sang that song at a Bernie Sanders rally. Sorry.
Yeah. Were you in Ohio?
I was in San Bernardino, so I made the joke, like, welcome to San Bernardino. Anyway.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Anyway, whatever. This is welcome to my stand-up routine.
You're sitting.
The second half of the portion. Yeah. What was the question? Sorry.
I can't remember. It was like protest music and its longevity.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. You know, I wrote Generals. It's funny because I put the record Generals came out in 2012, and it was a very political record. It was sort of, but singing Generals now, I mean, everything is cyclical. Things come back around. And so if I get to still sing this song in 20 years, I don't doubt that there will still be the same things happening, which leads me perfectly to the next song, if you don't mind me talking about it.
Let's go for it.
I wanted to sing a Christmas song that I wrote 8 years ago. It came out 7 years ago, called All I Want Is Truth for Christmas. And it's funny, I was singing it recently. I was like, oh, this is the same. It's sort of the most anti-Christmas Christmas song, and it's pretty political, and I'm sorry, I guess I just have this in my blood.
No, that's great. I love the idea of, like, new Christmas songs, you know, rather than like a version of one of the, maybe like 20 that you always hear some version of.
Well, this is sort of a remix of some songs you'll be familiar with.
Okay.
With a bit of a twist, and it's pretty apt for if anybody's making a holiday mix CD, a mixtape, Spotify, whatever, however you listen to music, Apple Music. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to try this. I haven't played it in a long time, so if I stop in the middle,
we'll still be here.
Bear with me. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Have it while you can, 'cause the scientists predict another record level year. It will be warm enough outside for all the birds to stay right here, and without the migratory paths we won't know where to go. Yes, next year we'll learn to celebrate without the snow. Have it if you can, 'cause the politicians will be at their same old arguments. Should we start another war, or should we raise another tax? And the elders in their robes, they will be wondering where we stand. But we won't care, we'll sip our coffees and we'll watch our TVs. Yeah, they're all HD. But whatever you do, don't turn on the news. All I want is you for Christmas. the old Salvation Army up the road. And I'll sit down with my love and we'll remember what it means to celebrate without a single store-bought thing. All I want is you for Christmas. Just a little truth this Christmas. All I want is you for Christmas. Just a little truth this Christmas. No short-haired, yellow-bellied son of Tricky Dickie's gonna mother Albert's off. So me for just a pocket full of hope. Son of Tricky Dickie's gonna mother Albert's off. So me for just a pocket full of hope. Money for dope. Money for dope. Money for dope.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I was thinking during that song that what you just said is totally right. That you said you wrote that song 8 years ago.
Yeah.
It could not be more pertinent, topical right now. Actually, it kind of goes in 8-year cycles in a way.
It does.
You know, it seems more relevant now than maybe it has since 8 years ago, just about.
Yeah, it's one of those things like, do we ever learn? Maybe not.
Right. Or when we think we have, we realize we haven't.
Right.
So I know you're gonna do one more for us from Be Here Now, and that being, since it is the 4th song, and you know I am so like conditioned to ask people 3 songs worth of questions. That why don't you just tell me about what this last song is and sort of how it fits, you know, into the sort of the scheme of the record.
Sure. Well, thanks for letting me play a 4th song. I figured I came all the way from LA. Why not? You know?
Yeah. Hey, we believe me, we have things to do that are not nearly as fun and enjoyable as this. So
Well,
you know, the more the merrier.
This last song I'm going to play is a song called Cocoon, and I think it kind of ties back to what we were talking about, protest music and just sort of people wanting to feel comforted and wanting to feel safe. And I think one really great thing that is happening and has happened as a result of what's going on politically in America is that people are banding together and supporting each other in ways that maybe they hadn't over the past years. You know, we're seeing a lot of things exposed that have been there all along that maybe we were just being naive, thinking that they had disappeared. And so, you know, I think a lot about safe space and community and being with the people and the one that you love. And so that's really what this song is about. It's about kind of being safe in someone's arms, despite the world falling down all around you. And I wrote it, Kimya Dawson, who I met here playing at the Sidewalk many years ago.
Wow.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
She wrote this really beautiful essay after the ghost ship fire about safe space and about how people were quick to say, oh, that was an unsafe space. People shouldn't have been there. And she's like, are you kidding me? That was the safest space that a lot of people had. And I was thinking about that in terms of just what's happening in the world. And I had this vision of Vesuvius exploding. And there's the two lovers, they say, who were mummified in ash in that explosion. And so I just thought of these two people sort of eternally holding themselves together for all of eternity, you know, despite the madness around them. And what a beautiful monument that is. And I was really happy because it's a beautiful coincidence that after we wrote the song and recorded it, there was an article that came out this spring saying they had done a scan and they found that the two people holding each other were actually 2 men. And so there's some speculation that they were gay lovers. And I thought, wow, I wrote this with that image in mind and thinking of my LGBTQ friends and just sort of people's rights being eroded and wanting to hold each other and keep each other safe. And it seemed like a really beautiful gift.
Yeah.
So here we go.
All right.
This one play.
Kicking up your dust. Don't need the news, I can see the truth. What is happening to us? I finally found some solid ground where I didn't have to hide. What can you do? Nothing's fireproof except how I feel tonight. I just wanna stay cocoon right here with you, even as the sky is falling down, even as the stars burn out. I know that I'm safe and sound, holding on to you and you to me. Let the fools call us crazy. They can say we're insane. If I've ever been out of my mind, I know that I'm not today. Vesuvius, Vesuvius, do what you will with us. Right or wrong, I'll keep hanging on to one thing you can't touch. I just wanna stay cocoon right here with you, even as the sky is falling down, even as the stars burn out. I know that I'm safe and sound, holding on to you and you to me. Even when it's said and done, at least I didn't have to run, holding on to you and you to me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really sort of lovely to end on that sentiment, I think. You know, it seems as though it's maybe an integral part of a record like this or a conversation like this, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, maybe,
Yeah.
or something to hold on to.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to hang on to is hope and one another.
Yeah.
I'm getting misty-eyed myself. I'm going to cry on the internet. I hope everyone's enjoying this. But I think it's true. It's the one thing that we need to cling to, hope and each other.
Yeah, and that those things will always be here for us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is Laura Burhenn. She is the Mynabirds. The new record, which came out in August, is called Be Here Now. It is her fourth record as the Mynabirds. And I know there's some tour dates coming up there on the West Coast next. You're back to California, and then I guess eastward from there probably.
Yeah, we're doing a few dates on the West Coast, all the way up to Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, LA, Spokane, Santa Cruz. I
Well
can't
done.
believe I remember that.
Yeah, good.
And then hopefully we'll be out back on the East Coast, in the Midwest, everywhere a little later in the spring. So.
Cool. Well, in the meantime, everyone, go on to themynabirds.com and you can find tour dates and some music, and definitely pick up Be Here Now. Laura, thank you so much for coming to Paste and playing in our studio for us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was our pleasure. Please come back and play for us again anytime, okay?
Thank you.
All right.